does that sound?
I hear something.
What is that, Richard?
Oh,
that was freaking scary back in the day.
It was awesome, man.
Woo! All right. Welcome, everybody, to Shark Week. You know what? This show is going to the staffing shark, Richard Rosener. Take it on out, buddy.
Dave, thanks a lot. And I just want to give a shout out to Result Staffing for sponsoring us all week, all 5 days. Our first guest, but before we do that, guys, for the last 2 weeks, I've been so busy trying to do staffing and also try to get this show and this whole week. And we have so many guests that it's going to be an exciting week. I never usually do this on air, but I got myself a land shark because you know what? The shark only drinks land shark beer, and I'm going to have a drink while we're doing this. So,
it's Steve already.
Oh, cheers to all here. Hey, it's going to be a great Shark Week here, and we got a great guest today. So I'm just going to lead it right into what we got to talk about. It's going to be about the full cycle sales. I can't wait. So, Alberto, you're going to get the spotlight now, and like always, we're all going to chat in. We're going to throw some comedy at it, but we want to learn today from you. You're one of the experts in the staffing industry. You've got a lot of credibility here. Just let everybody out there know he has a PDF that he's going to be sending out to everybody afterwards via LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything like that. So, Alberto, it's all yours, buddy.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Congrats on getting your show on the road and getting things going. I know it's a lot of hard work. I appreciate the support coming from both of you, from David and Richard. So let's take off. So full cycle. So when I was in the automotive industry, sales, the marketing, everything was so different than in the staffing industry. And I slowly learned to take it from the beginning all the way to the end, from A to Z, full cycle. And it's more competitive. It's you have to develop some critical thinking here and get some things going. There are a lot of parts to it. I don't think I'll be able to get through it all, but I'm going to touch on some key points and just some of the things. By no means do I consider myself a guru or anything like that, but I have enough experience and I keep up with current trends. So I kind of have a feel for what's working and what's not. So I'll just give you some examples. So let's start with some sales enablement tools that are available. Starting with ZoomInfo, we talked about this before. ZoomInfo is probably like the best tool out there. Very expensive. Yeah. But the thing about ZoomInfo is that you can actually have a conversation with someone. You know what technologies they use. You know pretty much everything, a full profile of their company. And this is just by clicking on a button. You have their email, you have their phone number. Very, very convenient. At the top of my list is ZoomInfo. Always will be. Now, is it cost efficient? Well, I mean, if you're a corporation, then and you can afford it, yes. But if you cannot afford it, then there are alternatives. Now, one of the things about the staffing industry that really irks me is that we're surrounded by all this technology, but most companies don't use it. They, wow. They just they don't incorporate that. And I don't know why. Maybe coming from the top, they're not used to seeing these new tools in play, and they're stuck in their old ways. Or I don't know if it's just to save a buck, or maybe it's just honestly not cost efficient. But I mentioned on our last time we talked about Reference USA. And anyone who wants to can go back, or they can ask me about it, because I won't get into that whole spiel again. But it is a good tool. They do not provide you with an email address, but you get the rest of the information from the company. Okay,
that's for the emails, right?
Yes.
And the information. That's right.
Yes, that's for information. That's to build your pipeline. Just businesses. I believe it's 56 a database of
You been drinking?
Hey, you okay over there?
So, I need some more.
Okay.
I think the shark has got him.
This is live, Dave, so you never know what's going to happen.
You never know, but
I'm gonna warn you guys right now. It's hot behind me right now. I feel it down my neck. So
it's a database of 56 million people.
Okay.
and businesses. And there's a lot of beef there. And that's just I ate some spaghetti in the sauce since I had my gallbladder removed. It's a mess. But
Hey,
anyway,
okay, man.
so there's that. That's another. That's a free one. I've talked about Calendly, which is also a free tool that you can use. And then there's video marketing, which is something that I'm coming into now. Now, a lot of people say, oh, make some goofy video on LinkedIn. Well, let me tell you, one of my goofy videos, I'll get like 3,000 views and all kinds of action on them. Just talking about, just industry stuff, just things that are relevant with what's going on right now with COVID-19, how hard it is, maybe get some pointers on, how to navigate through these tough times. And I'll get more out of that on LinkedIn than I ever will posting PDFs or posting anything else. It's about getting creative, and it's about trying to gain an audience and having people, helping people and genuinely being of service. So I have service in my heart, so I don't have a problem with that part of it.
Good
now,
deal.
There's also the email marketing, and there's a ton of them. Email marketing tools, there are a ton of them. Email marketing tools, you know what? I honestly don't use them. I stick to good old Word, that email on Word, the mass emails on Word, just because I like to personalize them.
Exactly right, Alberto. Perfect on
that. I
that.
personalize them. And then you have your CRMs. And, some CRMs, you might as well not have a CRM because it's more like a database. Some of them, some of them have interfaces and they connect with your email. And then they have all these really cool features like Salesforce. And those are great. But if you have like an old CRM like Aviante or, not to bash Aviante, but the really old school ones, Act.
Wow.
Those things are, they're fossils. And a lot of them haven't been updated. And they don't they don't really help you along the sales process. The thing is that nowadays you have to reach out to more people in order to get the same results. So that's what I've noticed from the 90s till now. The amount of people that I have to come in contact with or try to get in touch with has skyrocketed over the year. Then you have Career Builder, and Career Builder is a sales enablement tool, but that's more, for the supply and demand part of that is amazing for when you're going to go give a presentation, because it gives you an outline, geographical outline. It gives you the salaries. And then there's also LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is also costly. It's about $800 a year, but that one's really worth it because, even though LinkedIn is a great tool, when you have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you just get that much more out of it. Yeah. So those are pretty much the sales enablement tools that I've been using lately, and just waiting for new things to pop up again.
Good deal.
All right, Rich, we had a guest here that wants to say hello. Check it out.
Well, hello, Vic. Awesome. Awesome. I just want to elaborate on that, Alberto. And I think we talked about this before. And as you know, with me and my marketing and my sales, I think you have to be genuine. And I think you agree on that. You have to embed, if you do pictures or video, you should be involved in it and just not have a commercial video. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's going to lead me on to like the video part. Like I said, it's something that and you don't have to be a master at it. I started with a teleprompter. My first videos,
same.
I look at them now and I was like, well, humble beginnings. I had to start somewhere, and I would just read off them. They sell a $10 app on for iPhones that you can teleprompt from and kind of build it from there. And then so I'm going to go into the other piece, like the most important, the initial piece of when I get into a place and I start mapping a territory out. So territory management and prospecting, and once I have my target audience, and a lot of people dismiss the low-hanging fruit. And there's a couple of things that I do that I hope everybody else does, because it brings a lot of value to your work, to yourself, for the company you're working for. And that's if you go on their CRM or their database, more than likely, if they're doing business out of state, find out if they're doing business with any of the local companies, and start from there. And then I start with the people that they haven't, that bring some people back into the fold, and those are usually warm leads, and they're super easy to close, and and then you start generating revenue. And I mean, you're walking in a place, and 2 weeks later you have orders coming in already. The drawback to that, sometimes some companies won't give you credit for it, but if you're just coming in, those are really warm leads, and they'll get you going. So either way, it's still good. Even if it's not good for your pocket 100%, but it's good for the branch. What else? And then I'll lead on to getting to the decision. So I have my target audience, and now I do a 5 to 10 mile radius from the office where I'm at. And then I'll build my profiles just like that. Once I know who I'm going to reach out to, and one thing that I want to touch on is the gatekeepers, because they are a nightmare. And
you have to know where to come from different angles. Right? Alberto, different angles.
Well, one thing I do is with gatekeepers, I just ask for the person. I'm as vague as possible. As vague as I can possibly be. I don't say I'm from a company. I'll say, hey, I'm Albert. I'm calling to talk to so-and-so about the forklift operator jobs, and try to get transferred that way. Just be as vague as possible, because God honest, and even that doesn't work. But God honest, that's a good way to lead into it. And a lot of times I can get to the decision maker, or without having to, because a lot of things about cold calling, if you're calling and you're pitching to the gatekeeper, you're going to have a rough day. So don't pitch to the gatekeeper.
I can't even start on that subject. Woo.
Wow.
Yeah, don't even just go straight. You know what? And if she doesn't want to help me, then and I don't like to do this a lot, but I'll play musical extensions. I'll go and I'll go in their directory, and I'll just punch anything in Smith, and there's usually a Smith in there somewhere, and then I'll ask them to connect me to. So there's always a workaround, and that's the hardest part of the job, is nailing down the gatekeeper. As far as I'm concerned, it's getting in there and having a conversation with these people. But one thing that I learned is, don't go in as a salesperson. Go in as a person. I want to help you. I want to position myself in a way where I am here to solve a problem for you.
Exactly.
I'm not here to beg you for business. I have
Alberto, I'm going to stop you right there for a second. In staffing industry, we're not a sales rep. We're a consultant. We're trying to put a fire out, right? We're like a firefighter. Thank you.
Exactly. So that's my resolution. And you know what? I've done that for a while, and it works. It works. Just go in there and just genuinely tell people that you want to help them. I don't even tell them what company I'm from. I don't even tell them my title. I'm just Albert, the guy who's trying to help you out. Little conversations here and there. They always, it's funny because in the staffing industry, I've heard it, and this is mostly in the light industrial segment, where they say HR is where salespeople go to die. And I don't think that's true. I think it has its merit, but I don't think it's 100% true. But I also think that when they say reach out to to the operations manager, to the hiring manager, I say there's a lot to be said about that, because there's the guy who's feeling the pain, and if you talk to him, even if he's not the decision maker, you can try to get him in your corner. So when a need does pop up, he'll be there for you. Turn him into a champion per se.
You're right, man.
And then there's the researching, all the researching involved, and having intelligent conversations with these people. So yeah, so that was the second part of it. That's the territory management and prospecting. Great. That's just how I go about it.
That's awesome. Alberto, I got to ask you a question. Did you ever candidate market somebody? They'll put just put their first name and send it over, as I call it, shark bait, for an HR person to look at?
Yes, I do, and I still do it, but it's burned out. You know, it's not as effective as it once was.
You're totally right. Yes, everybody's doing it now.
Everybody's doing it. Everybody and their mother. The only thing I'm doing different is instead of going on Indeed like everyone else is, I'll try to go on the job link boards for the unemployment places. Just try some other, you know, some governmental places. Maybe go directly to the company websites. You know, the ones that I'm targeting. Go to the company websites and see what's on there, rather than what's on Indeed. And I usually get different people. It's just a little different, you know, because it shifts my target audience from what everybody else is doing, and now I'm calling on a different set of people.
You're right. And don't forget one big site that everybody misses: Craigslist. I'm telling you, it's a sleeper sometimes.
That's different. Hey, real quick, guys, we have Joanne. Hi, David. Hi, Joanne.
Hey,
we have
Joanne.
Tuvia that joined us. Tuvia, he'll be on this week. We have Brian. Oh, here's my man right here. I got to get Brian. You got to come on the show this week. We're going to get Mr. Brian Yakel to come on Shark Week. Yeah, because he'll talk about Little B. And like I said, we have Steven. So go ahead.
All yours, Alberto.
Okay, so I wanted to touch on one other. Well, there's two other things I want to touch on. It's on scripts and templates, and cold calls. Scripts, templates, and cold calls. A script for a voicemail should be, I mean, in my humble opinion, my name is Albert. My number is 630-815-3412, and I want to talk to you about the so-and-so position, and click, and that's it. I try to get them to call me back. If that doesn't work, then I'll do the other thing where, it's about putting in the phone call. I talked about this last time. Put in the phone call. Leave them a voicemail. On the voicemail, I'll let them know that I'm going to hit them up, that I'm going to send them an email. And if I don't hear back from you, I'm going to call you back at 3 p.m. And then I set it on my calendar, and I call them back at 3 p.m. And that works. I get good results out of that. And if they don't pick up at 3 p.m., I won't leave a voicemail anymore. Then I'll just keep calling. And maybe, and then after that, I'll tell them, hey, you know what? After I've called like 5 or 8 times, I'll say, hey, you know what? It's Albert again. I tried to get a hold of you a couple of times. Sorry we didn't connect, but I'm going to keep trying until I get a hold of you. And meanwhile, I'm going to send you another email. And if you don't respond that way, that's fine. And then I go on LinkedIn, and I try to connect with them via LinkedIn. The one thing I don't do is pitch a value proposition on LinkedIn, because it's like to me. I mean, this is more like a social place where the hard sell just doesn't work. I think people reach out to you via LinkedIn because it's more like a social network, and they want to network with you. And if they can help you, they will. And if you can help them, then you'll be willing to help them. I guess that's the trade-off. But as soon as and I've tried it. It's not because I didn't try it. I tried like the hard sell. Hey, I'm Albert from so-and-so company. And, I do light industrial, and it never works.
Did you bring your hard briefcase with you when you went in the office?
Oh my God. But you know what? Then I turn around, that same person, I'll just say, hi, how are you? And then I'll go and I'll put a phone call in, and it works. So there's something about LinkedIn. It's magical because you can make so many connections.
Yeah, you can.
But in my personal, experience, to try to sell on LinkedIn it's tricky, and I haven't mastered that yet. I don't know if it is now. I know that I use it as a tool that works for what it's worth, and I get great results from it. So the script. So cold email templates. Cold email templates. I mean, that.
Love it.
You want to insult someone? Go ahead and send one of those. I heard on this other show, there's companies, they'll send out thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of emails. And, they're getting the numbers that they want, but how many bridges are you burning while you're doing this? By sending someone a bunch of garbage.
Or it goes in their spam box and they spam you for life. They're done for life. They put you on the, do not ever enter into their company again.
Yes, they go to branding. All that money you're spending on branding and marketing, you're throwing it down the tubes, because now you're just sending something to someone, and as soon as somebody reads it, the first 3 lines, they're going to know it's a template that you sent to everybody and their mother, and they're not going to be interested in you anymore.
Exactly. So what do you, hey, Alberto, I got to ask you real quick, what do you believe 100 phone calls a day? You know how back in the day, these big companies want you to make 100, 200 phone calls a week. Just make calls, dial for numbers, and keep dialing. Come on, man.
I think there's a way to do it, and if you do it right, then it's okay. If you build a list and you have names, and one of the things I do is I make the links clickable. So then I have them on my iPad as a clickable link on an Excel spreadsheet. So when I click the link, it automatically makes the call for me, and I have my AirPods on, and I can bang out 20 calls like in a heartbeat.
Great.
That'll happen fast. Now to continuously dial and dial and dial away, that's a good way to burn your reps out.
Bingo. Turnover rate.
Burn the reps out, and you know what? I'm sad to say, but a lot of companies, that's what they want. They just want to burn people out. It's when you find a company that cares about you and the money's right, that's hardly ever happens. But when you find like all the good things in one, these are the places where people stay. When you go to most companies, they'll have one tenured salesperson, and everybody else is a year or less. Yep. Well, I mean, that just says everything, but I won't get into that. It's a whole different sack of potatoes. But what I will tell you is that it is possible to make comfortably 20 calls a day, and kind of warmish calls, depending how you go about it. If you don't go in there as a salesperson, it can be done. Now, like I said, continuously dialing, that will burn people out. And next thing you know, the salesman's gone out the door. And
hey, Alberto, what I learned is I use Alexa. Yeah, I tell Alexa to make 50 calls a day. Alexa, make 50 calls for me. Watch, she'll talk. Uh-oh, she's not working. I think she's unplugged.
Even lead generation, Dave. Your lead generation's done for the week.
It's done. That's it. Well, I tried to
I'm telling you,
not like her to sleep. But anyway, go ahead.
Not
Rich,
even Alexa will put up with that.
No, it's easy. She does it. No, she does it. I change the voice once in a while.
So I mean, like I said, phone calls to me are more important now than they were pre-COVID. 100%. I can't say enough about the conversations that I've been able to have since I got back to work after COVID were amazing. People are in their houses, and they'll pick up, and you'll usually hear their dog barking in the background or their kids running around. A lot of people are working from home, and they're more they're more willing than I've ever seen, than I've ever experienced, where they will have a conversation with you and really get down to the nuts and bolts. But the biggest problem now is that there's it's hard to find people. So as a salesperson, I'll go in there, and this is one of the things that I've been contemplating, and that some companies should probably start thinking about. And it's just me thinking outside the box. Instead of like having a salesperson per se, maybe you can have me that runs a full desk that can also do some recruiting for you. So when it gets busy and you have all these orders, you don't have a sales rep sitting around nothing, or just biting his nails, or just nervous because you can't fill the order. So what am I going to do? Run out and get more business that you can't fill? So why not have someone and throw them on the phones and have them do some recruiting?
Wow, Alberto, you just took that right out of my mind and my mouth all the time. Sales reps should be, I call them consultants, should be recruiters too. They should not just drive around in their car all day waiting for the recruiter to do all the work. I hate to say it, it's everybody's account. What is it? Team effort, right? For your brand.
That's what you learn.
Well, that's what I believe in.
I totally agree.
I did that with what's in my head. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. One thing I just want to say, man, you refuse to lose, man. I'm giving you that little Rocky pep talk now. It's like I feel like I'm back football coach and says there's no football around, but no, I give you praise, man. Refuse to lose, man. You're on it till they say no way, which is great, Alberto. That's what people need to see. They need to see that where you follow up just what you're telling us right now, and you're going to elaborate a little bit more. It's amazing. all your techniques. If everybody uses this, they're going to be successful. I'm telling you.
Well, like I said, it's nothing novel. These are things that I picked up from other people. And, you know, I've been listening to gurus since '04. You know, it started with Brian Tracy and Ziegler and, you know, all these other Townsend and just so many other people. Personal development is one of the most important things in my career because it keeps me afloat. And then I learned that, but, you know, one thing that I do that is kind of frustrating is reading a whole book and only getting like one sentence out of it. You get that one nugget after you sat down and read a whole book. So now I just listen to the audiobooks, you know, because all that reading, you know, and then it's just like the same thing. It is. Sales is repetitive. The only thing that changes over time are, you know, the way people go about doing things. You know, the trends, they change. Hey, you know what? On your subject line, they always talk about this. On your email subject line, if you put meeting request, if you put $600 COVID unemployment is at an end. Oh, what's going to grab your attention? You know, things like that are relevant, that are happening right now. That's what I go with. So I come up with different little things that are important to people. And you know, then emails really short, you know, no more than one paragraph. Nobody has time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, you know, all that stuff. What else? You know what? There's one more point that I wanted to touch on, because if I got into the full sales thing, it would take us a really long time, because, you know, then this is just pre-getting the meeting, you know, and when you have the meeting,
that's it, man. Bring it. You're ready.
The closer.
Yeah, then all the other stuff. This is all just prospecting and business development. Now we're talking about, you know, after that comes the, you know, what I really like is to sell. I wish I could have somebody do all this other stuff for me, and then I could just go in there with a hammer and start closing stuff left and right, you know? That would be great. But unfortunately, that's not the way it is. You know, I have to start it from the beginning all the way to the end. There's no one making calls for me. You know, I'm doing everything. But I wanted to touch on a point because it's happened to me twice where a place that either does not have a CRM or, like I mentioned earlier, has a dated CRM, which is just as bad. So, all right. So when you don't have a CRM, what are you doing? And lucky for me, I'm old school, so I know how to work it. I know how to work it. And I've had to do it recently, and I got to tell you, it's no fun. The worst CRM in the world, even worse than an old CRM, is an Excel spreadsheet. That is the worst CRM ever in life, because
you're bringing back nightmares now, man.
Yeah, look at the agonizing look on my face. Yeah, it's
you poor guy. I'll tell you what, I was just like mesmerized. I'm like, I don't know. I was like staring. I'm like, wow. Okay. Whew.
So there are things, like I said, you know, if I have to use Excel as a CRM, and then I'll do the clickable links like I told you. You know, I'll just write up a little quick formula. I'll write in clickable links so I can make my phone calls right away. And then just use Outlook with all the reminders. Fortunately, Outlook has evolved over time, and, you know, using the tasks and using the reminders and the meeting reminders, all that stuff, then I can pretty much get a good handle on what's going on. You know, the Outlook calendar, I use it profusely. So every day when I get in, you know, if I don't have a CRM, everything that I put in the day before, it's going to pop up on my reminders, and then I use that as a call list. And it's sad to say, but sometimes that's just the way it is. So, you know, if there's anyone out there, you know, if you try to find, there are a lot of sales enablement tools that are available for free. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to, you know, chat some more and probably point you in the right directions of the ones that I've used that I feel are noteworthy and that I've gotten good results from. Other than that, if you don't have a CRM, then it's just a rough ride. But it is what it is. You know, doesn't mean you can't do your job. It just means you're going to have to be a little bit more organized, and you're going to have to really, really get into get into your Outlook and set those reminders every time you make a phone call. Otherwise, you're going to lose business, or, there's a potential that you might lose business. So, and then, after all this, then we go into, the fun stuff, which is actually getting a meeting. That's a whole different conversation. If we kick off on that, then we're going to be here for another 2 hours. So,
yeah, right.
Whoa. I might have to drink about 6 more beers then. Come on.
Yeah. All right.
Oh.
Well, Rich, we're going on 30 minutes now.
Yeah. I just want to elaborate real quick, Alberto. Basically what you said, this is all in a PDF. It's a simple game plan that Alberto's putting together. There's nothing new to it. It's just applying it. And I think, Alberto, you're great. The way you explain it is so perfect that people can understand it. You know what I mean? We don't have to have all these big analytics and all this stuff. I mean, that's great, but you're going to the core. Correct me or not. You're right to the basics. This is how you get it done. And I think all sales reps, they need a prep. You got to have a game plan every week, every 6 weeks. You got to have a game plan. Mm-hmm. And the sales part, that's the closing. The closing's easy. It's the part of prepping everything that nobody does. Like you said, you got to bake a cake. You're putting the ingredients in to bake it, right? That's my scenario for the day, right?
All right, yeah. I'm going to remember that one.
But no,
one other thing I would say is
shoot
to all the managers, because a lot of managers, they tell, they don't sell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just got to say this. I've heard people talk about things that used to work in 92 and you can tell this person is probably like hasn't made a phone call in like 25 years. They haven't had to make a cold call. They're so out of touch with what's going on nowadays and with all these new technologies that they prefer to say that the old way is the only way. And I'm here, and I sell. I don't tell. I sell. So everything I do is what I would be doing on a daily basis. It's not about, oh, somebody told me this or somebody told me that. I was in a training once and some clown told me that he made like 30-something phone calls a week and that he got 8 appointments out of that, and that out of those 8 appointments, he got like 3 sales. And I was like, yeah, show me.
Ooh,
show me. Because I'd love to see that, because 35 calls, 8 appointments, 3 sales. Yeah, I don't know. Unless you're giving away gold, I don't understand those numbers. So it's one of those things where it kind of like, I think a lot of, and I'm joking about it, of course, but I think a lot of sales managers need to really put themselves in their BDM's shoes, in their sales person's shoes, and really figure out what they're working with and try to understand that it's a new world out there. What worked even before, I used to say what worked in 2017 doesn't work in 2020. Well, you know what? What used to work in pre-COVID 5 months ago doesn't work now. Yeah. So that's why I'm really back to the basics, but still I'm figuring out a lot of things. Like I said, one last thing is that whole Calendly thing. I can't say enough about it. I get so many appointments out of that thing. If you're not using it, you should definitely give that a shot if you're a BDM.
All right. Awesome, man. Cool. Awesome. And hey, Albert, at the end of the day, what do I always say? Always on the hunt, man. We're always on the hunt for the new prospect, right? That's the key.
All right.
Well, I tell you what, I was educated there, man. That was good. Yeah. And you know what, guys? I gotta tell you, for a while, I thought I was gonna be Michael Jackson here. I ain't gonna lie. It was like this fire is pretty close to me. You guys probably don't see it. I mean, it's right on top of my back. So, hey, the video went on. I'm not moving around now. I'm thinking, oh boy.
Yeah.
But no, it was a bit of pleasure, Alberto. I'm glad you kicked off our Staffing Shark Week. We got like so many guests.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Educational. We got people that just are going to do community work. I mean, the whole goal in this whole Staffing Shark Week is connecting people, learning about staffing. But you know what? Staffing is more than just putting people to work. It's about community. It's about love. It's about just enjoying life. Staffing is like a core. So I want to thank you again, man, for being on our show, buddy.
That's right, sir. And we'll be in touch. We got a lot of work to do. And hey, let's see everybody tomorrow. We got a lot. Rich, we got like about 4 or 5 guests tomorrow.
We do. So at the end, like I'm going to say, we got a thing here. Let's swim till tomorrow. No, I'm just joking. Hey, love everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow. Staffing
All
Shark
right.
Tuesday.
Talk to everybody soon.
Thank
All
you,
right.
gentlemen. Have a good night.